What's up? This is Andrew Taylor, and I'm over here in the Philippines on an Adiridas trip with Nikki and Linus. We decided to come over here since my grandfather lives on the island of Cebu, and we wanted to check out, different scene and some new riding. My buddy Phil and I were working on the showdown this year, and we both kind of found out that we had family on the same island in the Philippines, so worked it all out, put the trip together, and stayed at his family's big-ass mansion in Mandawi, right outside of Cebu City, for the first part of the week. And a bunch of stuff was going on there, and they put on some cockfights for us, and right outside there was like ghetto kids running around, but it was cool, and they took care of it well. Phil's family has a couple of lumber yards like throughout the Philippines, so we were lucky enough to get a bunch of trucks from them, and the whole time we had one support vehicle, big old Chevy with some 20s on it that we cruised around in, and everyone would always fight for who got to sit in the back instead of for who got to sit in the front, because it was pretty fun to just sit in the back of the truck and travel around the city, and people are yelling at you, yelling at people, and just checking out the scene. Big groups. Bike party! So the first trail we rode, we traveled outside of like Mandawi through Cebu City, and then out through a couple of villages. Like one was called Coconut Village, and the other one was Banana Village. By the time we got way out here, we started climbing this gravel road and got to the top, and sure enough there was an opening in the trail, little single track, and it led all the way down into the village. So it's a pretty cool trail, it had some rocky terrain and some cool berms and little drops and stuff, but one thing on the trail that was kind of crazy is you had to make sure that you weren't off the trail at all, because there's these sticker bushes that would prick in your arm and almost grab you and rip at you until you're bleeding. So, by the time we were at the end of the trail, all of our arms were covered in blood, but it was good times. After we were done up in Cebu City and Mandawi, we got all loaded up. The lumberyard gave us a couple trucks and some guys to help us out for the week, so loaded up a bunch of shovels and headed over the hill to Mobile, the small little snorkeling town where my grandfather lives, and set up camp at his little resort, and just kind of made that our base for the next week, where we would kind of come in and out, and build and ride and scout zones. One of my favorite parts on the trip was just being able to ride scooters every day. Right when we got into Mobile, we found a dude that rented us some scooters for the week for like $30, so it was like insanely cheap, and we just got to drive those around all through the mountains, and it made it a lot easier to scout zones, because you couldn't get the trucks in through like all these trails and stuff, so being able to ride the scooters everywhere was dialed, and luckily we didn't beat them up too bad before we turned them.
How is it? So sick. Cruising out to the first spot to go build some jumps.
luckily, since we're in like a third world country, it's kind of easier to roll up to like the mayor of the city and ask him if we can borrow the tractor and some dirt. So it's pretty much what we did. We rolled up to the municipality, had a meeting with the mayor, told him what we wanted to do, gave him a little sketch drawing, and he went for it. So he ordered a truck, like 18 or 20 truckloads of dirt, to be dropped off right behind the government building, which was right on the water. So it was a perfect place, and they let me jump in the tractor, build a jump, and we ended up putting on a cool show for the whole town, and they were stoked on it. One of the days we were riding some single track, we saw that there was a perfect zone to build like a drop to jump. So we came back with a bunch of workers that we hired and had them start cutting down all the bamboo trees and putting this crazy North Shore ladder drop out of bamboo together, and started building the jump, and it came together pretty quick, and eventually had an awesome session on it.
My body was weak, but not as much as my mind. Oh, my mind. I just can't get my feel of those hills. Oh, but still, no matter where I am in this land, feel alone when I'm not at home. Oh, 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 hi-oh, hi-oh. Oh, 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 hi-oh, hi-oh. Oh, 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 hi-oh, hi-oh. Oh,
So after our week down in Mobile, riding, we headed back up to Cebu City for a downhill race that all the local dudes were putting on. But it was pouring down rain and couldn't really, do the race. But we ended up riding it anyways, getting covered in mud and having a good time and just hanging out with the locals.
Just wait to die.
So the day after the downhill race, it cleared up and the sun came out. So we went back to the downhill area, and then we found this cool little jump in the middle that overlooks Cebu City. So we built it up and had a fun little session on it for the rest of the day. So after a rad couple weeks in the Philippines, it's time to head out, and it's kind of cool. On our way back, we had a quick layover in Hong Kong, so we got to cruise around the big city on a tour bus and check out all the crazy night lights, and yeah, eat 100-year-old duck eggs, which was pretty gnarly, but yeah. after that, headed back to the airport, parted ways with Nikki and Levis, and ready to head back home.